My name is Paul Stamets. I am a mycologist, an author, inventor, researcher. I'm an entrepreneur. I started a business, and I study fungi, and particularly mushrooms, and how mushrooms can help habitats and humans, and I'm very interested in the dynamics between the two. Well, what people don't realize that, we are talking right now, but all of us are involved in the transmission of DNA of other organisms. We are vehicles, just like insects transfer other organisms, but we are constantly mixing the genomes of many other organisms. So we are vehicles for the distribution of alien DNA, and that at first sounds spooky, but then you realize, well, that's always the way it's been, and it's this complex mixture, and that ends up with an equilibrium, which we view as being a healthy system. And so it's the organized chaos that results in sustainability. But that chaos is dependent upon a complexity. And we lose the complexity of the system, then we lose the system's ability to maintain an equilibrium. And then we have radical shifts back and forth. The shifts are like the weather changing. It's trying to balance something that's unequal within the system. And so I think really what these fungi have taught me in a big way is that we are a part of a massive system. And if we cooperate with the system, we're careful about maintaining our habitats, we'll be part of the system. But I think the system also has exit strategies for any species that violates some of the cardinal rules. And if you sour the very habitat that gives you sustainability, then the habitat, I think, will retaliate against you with zoonotic diseases carried by animals and insects to us. And factory farms, the H1N1 viruses, coming out of Mexico, H5N1 coming out of the Far East. I think these are all symptomatic of ecosystems that have degraded, concentrated populations of sick animals, bad agricultural practices, pollution, overpopulation. The system is stressed and it needs to have release points. And as a result, I think you're going to see nature trying to correct it. And the rule of nature is when an organism exceeds the carrying capacity of its habitat, then that habitat tends to seek revenge against the organism by causing that organism to die off, because it puts everyone else in jeopardy. And we should be very careful if humans are empowered to such a degree that they can destroy the ecosystem where it can't rebound. And I think always the microbes will survive, but whether larger animals will survive, and we are animals, that becomes a very important question. The problem with carbon dioxide evolution is that when CO2 levels go from, when I was born, there were 345, they're now 395. Well, that's more than 10% increase. When the CO2 levels go to 1,200 parts per million, then large animals, including us, we're not going to be able to work all day long, or we'll have to be taking breaks. We'll be not be able to absorb enough oxygen. Our immune systems will be lowered. If it goes to 2,000 to 5,000 parts per million, it's going to be very, very difficult to breathe. At 10,000 parts per million, pretty much game over, and that, I think, will lead to a collapse of the biosphere, where the larger respiring animals are not going to be able to survive. So we're really talking about species extinction events, and the majority of species, you may have heard 99% of all the species on the planet have become extinct. We're a species. The odds are against us, So I think we should pay very careful attention to evolution and the fact that, we're empowered with the responsibility of making our own decisions that will affect our future. If we are disrespectful to that responsibility, we make the wrong decisions, then not only we're harming us, but we're harming descendant generations well into the future. And I think people should have a responsibility to the future generations yet unborn. And that's why I think conservatives should be behind this. They should really be behind this. Protect the unborn. Yes.